Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. And let me turn this down. You are in the Java Cafe. We are coming to you live from Miami Beach this morning. I'm scheduled to have a guest. Not sure if they're going to make it. I know sometimes folks try to log in and technical difficulties or whatever. But if they do not make it, today will be a quick shot for sure. Let's go in the Java Cafe and see who is in this morning. My brother Ian, what's up, man? Loud Minds is in the room. Good to see you, brother, as always. Kelly, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. Bro, sand in the toes. Yeah, I don't like it, to be very honest with you. I was sitting downstairs yesterday taking the towel like, ugh. But no, it is definitely good to be here. Mama Java, good morning. Good to see you in the room. As always, Sister Debbie, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. I think I got everybody. Michelle D. Smith, good morning. Good to see you in the room this morning as well. I'm going to give my guest a couple of more minutes. Let me just make sure I'm not getting any communication from the team. We will be in for a little while. Let's talk about invitations. But anyway, we are here. Tameka is, so I don't see you. Interesting. So Tameka, what I'm going to do, you may have the wrong link. And so I am going to email you the link real quick. Yeah, Wednesday 20th. All right, y'all, you know we do stuff in real time. Let me just get Miss Tameka the link real quick. And we'll get her in. This would be a good time to take a commercial, right? No, we're not going to do that. All right, Tameka, hold on. While we are waiting for me to get Tameka the link, can you all do me a favor and let me know how you're feeling about the upcoming presidential election? There's been a lot going on. All right, I got to figure out how to get this to Tameka. Hold on. Oh, this would really be a good time to do a commercial, right? Sharon Cornelius, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room this morning. Good to see you. Guess. Link. Let me just make sure. Today is Wednesday, right? Today is August 28th. I want to make sure I'm in the right link. Okay. Hold on, y'all. Okay, there we go. All right. We are going to try to get Tameka Anderson into the room. Human error happens. Okay, again, you all know this production and engineering goes on in real time. Tameka said, yes, I had the link for tomorrow's show. All right, so we're figuring out, Tameka, how to get you the link. All right, Anissa's going to forward it right now. And so Tameka will be with us in a few minutes, for a few minutes till about 9:30 or so. But I'm so glad that she's going to be able to speak with us a little bit about mental health and leadership. That is something Toy Burton from Dee Dee's Cry often talks about mental health in different spaces and disciplines, and mental health as artists, mental health as advocates, mental health as Black men. And so we're going to talk a few minutes this morning about leadership in mental health, and talk about her book and some other things. And so she hopefully will be with us in just a few moments. Michelle D. Smith, in reference to how you're feeling about the presidential election, Michelle says, I am also looking forward, as always, to voting in my local. Michelle, make that point in that part rather, that we need to, what folks call down ballot, we need to ensure that those that share the same values as those that we're trying to get elected in higher positions, state and local, all politics are local. So we need to make sure that they are supported as well. Charlotte James, happy anniversary. Happy belated anniversary to you and Brother Mike. I've seen the pictures and stuff. Happy anniversary to both of you. Stan, good morning, brother. He said 2024 presidential concerned. There's a lot of concerns. And I'm not going to, we have a guest getting ready to come in. I'm not going to get into a bunch of political commentary. But there is Tameka. There she goes. Let's get her in so I can stop running my mouth. Tameka, good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am doing well. I apologize. We have it. It's. I used to do it all the time. You'd have 2 or 3 links lined up, being in advance, and then you wind up clicking the wrong one, and so it happens. And so shout out to Anissa for making sure this happens. But thank you for being with us today. And I'm going to ask you, kind of coming in late, but I'm going to jump right in and ask you if you would first of all greet the audience, say hello, and describe how you're feeling this morning in one word.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. One word. I would have to say I am chill.
You're chill. Okay. I like the chill. And so Tameka, from reading up about you and some of the questions that Anissa put together for us, you move in a space of mental health. You move in a space of doing a real, we talk about mental health and mental wellness in this space. However, sometimes I've been accused of just getting to the surface and not doing the real dig, deeper dive. And so that you specialize in really addressing mental health, but specifically for leaders in leadership, no matter what your discipline in leadership. Mm-hmm. Okay, so before we get to that, if you can just tell the audience a little bit about yourself, a little bit of your journey, and how you got to this point of, because working with leaders in a mental health space, you set yourself up, because we are eclectic, we're unique, we're stubborn, we're opinionated, we have poor time management, and typically don't prioritize self-care. So good morning, and why and how did you end up here with us?
Okay, so that's a loaded question. And how much time do you have? But I always say that when you land on your purpose, it's like a journey, right? So I feel like I landed here because of my past. I grew up in Chicago, Illinois. I was actually raised in foster care. So I was there my entire childhood until I thought I was grown and signed myself out. And then one of the things that I know that I loved was I loved working with children. And so once I started having children, I wanted a way to be with my children. And I became a nanny. So in working as a nanny, I worked with, high executives, helping them to calm the chaos in their house. Well, guess what I was very, very good at? Managing chaos, right? So like I said, this kind of found me. Okay. And so from there, everything evolved from there. One thing led to another. And here I am working with the leaders to help them to identify. That's why I'm called the F.U.N coach, because I help them find unmet needs, right? Because like you said, there are all the things that you said. However, there's a blind spot because they are who they are. They are used to doing what they do, and they not a lot of them have people who are going to tell them the truth, except me. So there we go.
I, you know, I'll give some response on the other part, on the earlier parts, but on the last part, I do appreciate, to the point you were making when you ended, truth tellers. Leaders need truth. I'm thinking of one situation right now, and it just really hit me. Leaders need truth tellers, because having yes people around you just is, all the time. It just isn't good. You don't get challenged. You don't become more creative. I had a conversation with someone yesterday, and they said, "I'm not going to keep telling you. I'm not saying it anymore." I said, "No, keep saying it. Keep saying it. I'm just slow." You know what I mean? It has to get in. I have to make sure it's good. Think about all the kinks and all the other stuff, and work out the knots and all that other stuff. So you're in this space of working with leadership, coming from did you low-key compare leadership to babies?
Absolutely. I compare parenting to leadership.
Okay, so okay, you can frame it. I like the way you frame it on the latter, but
Yeah.
okay, I just realized that when you said your expert, or the landing in this space, and we share that similarly. This here wasn't a go after desire thing. I embrace it now, but
Right.
I just landed here from trying to tell Black and brown folks, after the governor said we need to stay home, this is serious, and then it just took off. And so let me ask you, I see in some of the questions and some of the things that you do, you talk about trauma informed care.
Mm.
And I would venture to say that my familiarity with a lot of leaders, when you get to know them and their story, there's a lot of trauma there. And so let me also include that last couple of years, a friend of mine sent me an article and talked about, moving away from trauma informed care, because it doesn't give a clinician like yourself, or someone potentially the purview, or the clinician or others, to see that person beyond the impact of their trauma. Long way of asking, how do leaders address their trauma but not live in it?
Oh, I love that.
I try. It takes a long time. I told you I'm slow, but we're going to get a good question after about 5 minutes of commentary. But
I love that question. Okay, so this is why, like I said, my clients dubbed me the fun coach, because they said
okay,
they have
yeah.
fun with me. Because I asked them, I said, "What's one word you would use to describe working with me?" They're just like, "Even though we dive deep, we have so much fun." And so that's what my whole goal and mission is to help my clients find unmet needs in a way that feels good to them, right? So they have fun.
Okay.
Okay. And so how I do that is I have coined what I consider the ABCs of mental wellness. And so the A, and I like it to keep it simple, right? So you're going to remember ABC, right?
Yes. Yeah.
A stands for aware. Become aware of your triggers. Becoming aware of your triggers help you to do B, set boundaries around your triggers. A lot of people think boundaries are to tell somebody what to do and not to do. No, boundaries are a way to say, "Hey, here's where I need to draw the line." So setting a boundaries, like for example, for me, a trigger of mine used to always be rejection. You forgot to include me in an email. You didn't send me the right link to the stream yard, whatever. The rejection. Okay. So I had to set a boundary that, my mouth used to be slick. So instead of
I don't have nothing here to sip on a drink. My mouth's still a little slick, just a little bit.
so instead of reacting to someone when I feel a perceived slight of rejection, I journal. I journal and I get to the bottom of where did the feeling come from? Well, guess what? When I was a child, I remember they gave everybody else some cupcakes but me. I had to sit there and watch people eating cupcakes. And then how did that make me feel? That made me feel sad, right? So now these are the boundaries that I've set around my triggers so that I don't go off on you. Now, the next one, C, is to resolve the conflict, right? Now, here's the thing. If I ask myself this question, let's just say somebody forgot to invite me to a party, and I ask myself, do you really want to go to the party? If the answer is no, the only resolve I need is within myself.
Okay.
If
Okay. Okay.
the
Yep.
answer
Yep.
is yes, then I approach you and I say, hey, listen, I didn't get the invite. I really wanted to attend. Is there a way we can make this happen? I'm keeping the focus on me and what it is that I'm feeling, what I need, and I'm allowing the other person to say their piece. So the ABCs of mental wellness.
I like the ABCs of mental wellness. Um, A, it's funny. A, B. A, be aware. B, set boundaries, and C, resolve conflict. And so, I don't know if this is from a trauma spot of me, but if I don't get the invitation, depending on what it is, I like this step of, do you even want to go? And it's not so much invitation to an event. The space that I move in is wide, vary from being a panelist, hosting, emceeing, and things like that. And it could be from my trauma space, but I'll resolve some stuff in me. And then that point of maybe, either reaching out or checking in with someone about the invite, I'm not. I'm not there yet. If it's a good opportunity, you want to, big event. Hey, yo, you got it. Can you get me in? That's a little bit different, but it just resonated with me when you said that conflict, if it's external, you might reach out and be like, yo, what's good? You would?
Yes, I have done. I'm going to tell you, I had someone that I used to be friends with, and
Oh, yeah.
long story short, I introduced her. Well, she met her husband through me, and she didn't even invite me to the wedding.
What? Okay. Every situation is different, and I definitely get that. Yo, if you got your boo and I introduced y'all, I don't know if there was falling out. We're gonna get into all that, but a courtesy, if it wasn't for you, that's sort of an affirmation. If it wasn't for you, this day wouldn't even be happening. And so, okay, I'm not going to dwell there too much because that could be a whole Zoom or case in itself. And so I do want to ask you also, you talked about your ABCs, those are principles, but how are they central to your approach? And also, how do you help people prioritize their mental health with those principles? But come on, Anissa is in, other people that know me, it's a good effort and desire, and we're all progressing and getting there, but what is it that you do that snaps or gets them? Or is it a process? Is it an ever evolving journey that they're on?
Ask the question one more time so that I'm very clear on it. Because you kind of went around and I was like, okay, where are we going with this?
You did not call me out a little bit. Okay. What is the snap factor? What is the one thing, or is it individually with each client that you get them to a point where their mental wellness is a priority? The business is right there. The family is right there, but the mental health is like there. How do you get them to do that?
So I have, again, me being a writer, I like to make things simple for people so that they can understand it. So I have coined what I call people principle.
Yes. Yep.
And so with the people principle, if you just spell out the word people, now I'm going to be able to tell you the process, right? So with leaders, especially, the first one is passion. Okay. As a leader, if you are leading teams, one of the things that I know for myself, I need to see what you're passionate about. That is how people join your cause, your mission. That is why you're a leader, right? So, but passion without the next step, E, empathy, passion without empathy is narcissism, right? So you have to have empathy for the people that you're leading. And then the next one, the O, is observation. Observing yourself first. How can you go deeper? How can you become aware of how you're showing up? And then the next P is participation. I cannot tell you how many times I see leaders who do not actively participate in building connections with their team. And then they wonder why, I don't know why they're not listening to me. I don't know why they're leaving, because you don't have a connection. Then the next one, L, my favorite, is listening. I wish I could talk about this all day. Most people don't listen. So learning how to actively listen, deeply listening, not listening to say something, but listening to understand. And then finally, you can get that last E, empowering others. You cannot empower me if I don't see your passion, if I don't know that you empathize with me, if I don't see that you are reflective as a leader, if you're not listening, if you're not participating, you can't do any of that. You cannot empower me, because empowering means holding up the mirror so that they can see what you see in them, right?
Yes. Yep.
So you have to prioritize your mental wellness in order to be able to have space to do those things.
I just want to get clarity as I'm trying to keep up with you here. People, empathy. What was
The first one is passion. Passion. Yes, passion.
Not taking me back. You know what, Miss Tameka, you're interesting. Passion. Passion. Okay, so passion, empathy, and then what was the O?
Observation.
Go a little bit into that, because I was now, I'll be honest, y'all, audience, I was typing, so I didn't hear the whole thing on observation. Explain observation again. Observating. Okay, like conversating, observing and conversing around you, the impact, your leadership style. What is it that you are observing?
Well, you have to observe yourself first and how you're showing up in the world. Because as a leader, a lot of times there's so many leaders that are just oblivious to how they're infecting. I say infecting instead of impacting others. They're literally infecting them because of all the stuff that they have inside that you're just spilling and projecting onto everybody else. So observation goes very, very deep and wide.
Okay. And L was what again? I'm just going to line it up. We're going
to listen. Listening. Oh, I always tell people
you did not do the parental frustrating.
Listen, I tell people most of us have 2 eyes and 2 ears and 1 mouth for one reason. We need to watch and listen twice as much as we speak.
Okay, we're going to go through these again because I got them all down. All right, so to get this done right, as a Lord Jesus, I'm just all discombobulated this morning. As a leader, this is what happens when you're on the road with not the full setup. All right, as a leader, it's about the people, and I like how you sort of played on words, because in leadership, most of us are always thinking about the constituency, the audience, the congregation, the community. And so it's really about the people. So that's good to keep in mind. So the first thing is the passion piece. And you said to be passionate about your leadership or the space that you're in.
Be passionate about people.
Be passionate about the people. Okay. Absolutely.
Yes, because John Maxwell said something that I absolutely love, and I use it. He said, every room I step in, I add value. Why? Because I value people. And so I've adopted that same model. I can't go anywhere without adding value because I value people.
Yeah. And I'm getting to a point where some of the places that I'm going, if I'm not adding value, the other consideration is it adding value to me? And if it's not, then I'm not going. Shoot. All right. Empathy. Be able to now do a little bit for those that often and I have it maybe not clearly articulated. Empathy versus sympathy.
Oh, yes. So sympathy says, I see that you have a boo-boo, that you just scraped your knee.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand it. Empathy says, oh, I feel that, because you felt how that feels. So you're like putting yourself in someone else's shoe.
And you got to have that empathy for the people, along with the passion. And then observation. We did that. and then participate, which I did hear that part. If you're a leader, you need to participate with that which that you are leading. Sometimes go out, just for example, empty a trash can so the janitorial staff can see that you're not too wonderful. You talk about John Maxwell. I don't know if you're familiar with his book, Servant Leadership. And oh my God. And so you know about the evaluation, the E and the all that. I'm not talking to you. Okay, so this one. I'm doing better here. I'm doing a lot better here. Listening. It is important to listen.
Yes.
Listening and observation go together, right? Because you have to also be aware of the unsaid things.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
Body language, learning how to see and hear what people are not saying.
Absolutely.
So that's something that I absolutely teach leaders is how, because one of the things that I do, I can walk in a room, somebody tell me what's going on with their team, 5 minutes, I can tell you what the problem is, because I have paid enough attention to people, and all of the behaviors tell the same story, and they all lead to the same problematic behaviors. So just being able to listen.
One of the things that I heard from you there, there's a commonality, there's a trend. And the last thought I had was we're human. And so, those common trends from unconnected people, you're working with corporate leaders, you're working with parents and clinicians, you're seeing this common thread. It means that basically we're all human and have some frailties. Last thing, empowering. I struggle with this only because those sometimes that feel that they empower, they feel that they can disempower. So I don't want this to be an acronym, but are we showing people their power or are we empowering?
So, and that I'm so glad you said that, because that's something that frustrates me too. When you go to all of these conferences and everything, oh, we're going to empower you. Again, you cannot empower someone without doing all of those things first. You have to be passionate about them. Your empathy needs to, like, all of the steps has to happen first before you can empower me. What is the quote that says, I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So the thing is, empowering, the real empowering truly means that I will never use my power to disempower you. That's truly empowering people.
Now, that statement, I started off trying to take up time and ask folks, talk about the presidential election. I'm not going to pull you into, what did I say? Presidential election. I'm not going to pull you into politics, but very significant point during this time. And I'll just leave that at that. And so with all that we're talking about in being aware of our triggers, the ABCs, I love your acronyms, the ABCs, being aware of our triggers, setting boundaries around our triggers, and then also looking at sometimes how we resolve the conflict. Can we self-resolve, or is it going to require us to have some sort of interaction with an external factor that is sort of a trigger for us? And I just have to go to one comment that one of the church mothers said this morning, because she was quite disappointed. Where is it? When you mentioned that you didn't get invited to the wedding. Oh my God, she didn't invite you. Sometimes you're going to have those difficult conversations in doing that. And so I definitely get resolving the conflict. And then you also said, as a leader, you got to be about the people. And the people stands for having passion for the people, having empathy for the people, observation and observing the people. And I wanted you talked about when we're going to get into listening, and I made the comparison between observation and listening. It's not just the body language, but it's also behaviors and trends. If you all of a sudden notice that the secretary that used to come in at 7:45 that made everything ready to go at 8 o'clock, all of a sudden she's coming in at 8:15 and it's consistent, that's an unspoken sort of behavior. So it falls in that observation piece.
But even before that, you will observe. This is what I always tell leaders. You can always kind of eliminate that because you see the early warning signs. Her work is turning, she might be turning in work late.
Okay.
She might not be paying attention. There's always warning signs before the big kahuna, if you will. So that's what that means too.
People definitely know there's definitely a trickle into these spaces. This is why you must observe. But then if you also participate, you might have a better inkling of what's building up to this secretary not feeling valued, being talked down to because, again, not feeling valued in that position, which folks don't know. Secretaries and admins are the key elements almost in any organization. So definitely have to participate with them. And then listening as well. Body language and also what's not being said. And then, sometimes, and let's keep it 100. Because sometimes when we talk about listening, we get into the deep stuff. No, go back to the simple and just open your ears and listen.
Yeah.
And last one, empowering, where they must be willing to work to, we use the word empower, but also show their subordinates, their peers, their power as well, like giving them the tools to get in a better position, paying for them to go to those trainings.
Yes,
Things like
absolutely.
that. I know this isn't all corporate. Before we take a little quick break and then come back and talk about your book, can you talk a little bit? School is in the midst of starting or will be starting. And we're going to do a show with a couple of parents, but you said parenting is leadership and sort of a job and things like that. Can you give us a little bit of context of this people principle, which is the kids, for parents? And it's a misnomer and a given that, these are your kids. You have passion, you have empathy, but
most parents don't listen. Like I always say, behavior is communication.
yes.
One of the things, there's only one thing that I teach my clients. One thing, like all of the principles and everything, these sound good. There's one thing I teach people. Do you know what that is?
Behavior is communication.
No, one thing I teach is effective communication.
Oh God, yes. Yeah.
Because the behavior is a way for the child, the person, whoever, to say, hey, I'm not getting my needs met in a healthy way. So I know that doing this unhealthy thing always gets it. So I'm going to do the unhealthy thing as long as it takes for you to get, I'm not getting my needs met.
And that's not just kids.
And that's why I said the person, people, behaviors, grown adults. Yeah.
Do a lot of this. All right. Last question. I said we're going to take a break. Someone just made a very interesting comment. The Sharon again said, during seminary, I took an internship at New England Baptist, 4 years, 18 hours a week, learning to listen to patients. Yes, I had to listen to what people and the patients were saying. And sometimes in this mental health space, sometimes people just need to get it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in thinking about that, we often feel that we have to give a response. We have to help them self-resolve or conflict. Is it okay for us sometimes just to listen?
Yes, hold space. I actually teach leaders to do that. Yes. I teach, as a matter of fact, I host cry parties, right? And in the cry parties, I've trained my facilitators. Your only duty when you hear someone sharing is to say, thank you for sharing. That is it. Because you are not there to fix anything. You are there to hold the space, because a lot of people just need space. They need space to grieve, to cry, to heal, to, Iyanla said it best, our pain needs a witness and so does our healing. So we just need somebody to witness this, that, hey, I got this going on, and just be there. So
to know that you're being seen and know that you're being heard. Yes. Is so significant. And it's interesting because I use the term often, holding space, particularly around trauma. When there are, incidents in the community during COVID, we held spaces And virtually, it's hard for everybody to listen, but you've helped me about the holding space thing, to just listen. And it's going to take a behavior modification. Thanks for sharing. Because the other thing is, the person sharing, they're so conditioned like we are, that they're going to want sometimes us to give a response. And so how do you think they're going to feel if we say thanks for sharing and then we just...
But that's the thing. Like, I tell people all the time, you have to learn and train your circle how to hold space and to have space held for you, because it is uncomfortable at first. It is very uncomfortable. You're like used to somebody saying, girl, you need to do this. You should have did that. Why you do? But now, thank you for sharing. They're like, were you listening? Did you hear what I said?
Because I'm putting myself in the other person. Okay, let me, I'm talking to you and I get it all out. And on the other end of the phone, I hear, thanks for sharing that, bro. Literally, I'm like, do you care? You know what I'm saying? Like, so, okay. I said I was going to bring this in the context of parents. That point right there, talk to the parents, because sometimes parents do good with the kid. Okay, thank you for letting me know.
Right.
Ain't nothing going to change. And so how can parents practice a little more passion and empathy with their young people who right now are at a very stressful time? Right. If they're starting middle school, if they're starting high school, if they're in college, shoot, if they're in graduate school, how do parents do better with that piece about a different spin to thanks for sharing? Because parents will say that to kids easy. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
How can they take it to the next level?
So a lot of the times I tell parents, a lot of times I see and I say to parents, we have to stop being so possessive, right? Because it's the possessiveness, it's the behavior around the possessiveness. This is my child, And so with that possessiveness, it is very unhealthy, because now you're seeing this child, even though you don't want to say this, but you're seeing this child as a possession, a property, something that is rightfully yours to use and hold and be and do everything you needed to do. But that's not the way to look at it. You literally have to look at your children as you are the guide. That's who you are. You're the guide. Hey, I've been down that street. Okay. They have potholes. Don't go to the left. If you think of yourself as a guide, it is easier for you to step back and to hold the space, because you're holding space for someone that hasn't been where you've been. So you're trying to help them get where they want to go. That's the key. They're not going where you went. They're going somewhere else, but you're trying to help them navigate some of the roads. And so when you think of it as you being a guide versus this is my child, I'm possessing this person, it becomes easier.
To Miss Teresa's point here, Mommy wants you to share and express your feelings respectfully and responsibly. And then Mommy, not you, Miss Teresa, but Mommy has to listen. And you've probably, in the afterwatch and whatnot, a lot of parents are going to be like, ouch, ooh. I've never heard anyone frame it like that they're not your, and we get the full context, they're not your possession. You're actually there to guide and lead them so they can have a better outcome in life. Oh my goodness, Tameka, listen, you're starting to make me tired. That's always a good, because it's the exchange. It's like, okay, we're going to take a quick break real quick, and we're going to come back and talk about your books and how folks can follow you, and just a little bit of a precursor. I'm going to challenge you with the question. So yes, I'm sure you're ready for it.
Of course.
We'll be right back, everybody. Let me just get this right. Again, not at home and everything is not together. Okay, here we go.
For the innovators, the dreamers, the risk takers, independent workers who keep our neighborhoods thriving, Connector Care from the Massachusetts Health Connector has plans for every lifestyle and budget.
Having access to affordable healthcare is for everyone in our community.
Connector Care plans help more people save on healthcare that covers all their needs. Find out if you qualify for Connector Care. Visit mahealthconnector.org or call 1-877-MA-ENROLL.
Listen, folks, we're back. We're speaking. You are a clinician, right, Tameka?
I am not. I am a trauma-informed certified coach. That's who I am. But it's so funny that you said that because I'm actually launching a podcast called Literally Not Therapy. Because everybody asks me the same thing. Are you a therapist? Are you a therapist? No.
So you're not a clinician.
No.
When you gonna go? When you gonna go and at
I'm
least
not.
get the
I'm not.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna listen.
I am not. No, that is not something that I am interested in. Like that's the reason why first of all, when I tell you I have had every bit of experience of trauma that you ever want in your life,
That's enough in itself.
in trauma, okay? And so I just learned how to navigate it and help other people navigate it by diving deep into it. I love all things trauma. Learning about trauma, that's my jam. So I don't need to go to a school to say, oh, let me teach. No, I'm already doing it. So no, I won't.
I'm intrigued by the fact that one, you talk about you lived every type of trauma and then have been able to work through it or continually working through it, healing, because we realize that healing is not a one and done, it's a journey, and still be able to come out on the other side and present with this such positivity and engaging sort of manner to get past that. So definitely salute to you and thank you for the impact that you're having. And one of the ways that you're having impact, and I know folks are going to want to go look it up. I can talk this morning, I promise. You're also an author. You've taken this life experience with going through trauma yourself and then also helping others and getting a certification as a trauma-informed coach. And you've written a couple of books. So tell us about the books.
So yeah, I read a couple books, one specifically for leaders, one for parents. The Confident Leader is for the leaders, and you'll actually see the people principles broke down in there. And the Parenting the Confident Child is specifically for parents, and it breaks down even further how to really navigate parenting and how to focus on developing a child that is confident by teaching them how to effectively communicate. So literally, that's what I talk about. Effective communication is what it is.
With the Confident Leader, and both of them talk about effective communication. Can you do me a favor in real time in the private chat? Put the best link for them to get your books, and we're going to put it in the comments, hyperlinked, and also your social media. If you look to the right, there's a little box that says private chat. You type it in there, and I'm simply going to go in and cut and paste, and put it in the comments and in the banner there.
Okay. Now, what do you want me to put in there? My book, the book.
Were you listening?
Yes, I was listening. I was listening. You said
I had to, because you slapped me a couple of times today. I'm like, oh Jesus. No, if you could put the link to the books and your social for folks to follow you.
Okay. So it's pretty easy. You can find me anywhere on the web. Fun Coach Tameka. Like literally, that's what it is.
Coach Tameka. Okay.
Yes.
But some of the folks here that they've gotten used to me. I just put the hyperlink and they just click it and they ain't got to Google, they ain't got to search.
I got you.
So I'm empowering them.
Okay.
And I have passion for my people. So and I observe the fact that, and I listen to them and I participate.
I'm seeing what you're doing there. I love it. I'm here for it. Okay. I'm here for it.
You're fun. Sharon said this was good. This was really good. And I'm glad we were able to make sure you got in. So I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh, I was here. That's why I was like, what's happening here? I don't see what's going on. I was here.
I seen the comment. I said, oh. All right. So this is where this is your link tree.
No, that's the books. Both books. They're on Amazon, but both of them I sent the links for both.
I saw on Amazon, and I was trying not to, because I they take cuts and all that other stuff. I was trying to have them get it directly, but folks, in the comments right there is the link to both books. And also, if you want to follow Tameka as well, you can follow her on socials, and she has a website. And so the first book that's up right now, the first link you sent me is to the one for the leaders.
Parenting.
Oh,
and then
parent.
the second one's for a leader.
So parents, this is the one for you. Y'all are getting ready to, shepherd and guide these young people and your college students and your graduate students. As you're getting ready to guide them back to school, this is the book for you. And then also we want to make sure that if you are a leader, this is available to you as well, where Tameka really goes in, and we did a quick synopsis today, but there's a breakdown of the people principles that she uses, which again is passion, empathy, observation. I swear the notes on observation, participation, listening, and empowering.
Yay! See, that's why I make it easy for you to remember.
That's kind of. I told you I'm just a teeny bit. It takes a bit to put stuff to get in, but no, those are both of the books. So again, the first one here is for the parenting. The second one here is for the leaders, and also. Tameka has a website where you can keep up and get all things about the F.U.N coach. And we're going to make sure. Oh, my mother is so proud. She's like, he got it. Thanks, Ma. Love you. Appreciate you. She's the only one I use the term for. She the number one fan. Jesus. If nobody else would have been in here today, there would have been one little number right there, Gina Harris.
Yeah, that's so good.
But no, Tameka, I appreciate you. And I'm sure we'll have you back to talk about some other things. There's a lot of things in my head around some panels I want to do. And as winter is coming, I feel a little more comfortable doing the virtual stuff because ain't nobody going outside. But what is it that you would leave with community today? Because all of us in our own right are leaders. In the Black Lives Movement a few years ago, there was this transition or new term that's called being leaderful versus a leader. I think a lot of times in our society, and you do need leadership. You have to have leaders.
Yes.
But we don't want to negate leaderful people from the person that does the crochet club with 5 girls on her street to the person that goes out. Seen a man today with a bag. You can tell he doesn't work there. His section of the beach, he just was going out and picking up trash. And, so people are leaderful. What is it that you would say to the average person that can take these principles? They're not in a position. They're not a corporate leader. They're not a parent. They're not a community leader. They're just leaderful. And they want to lead a good life.
Yeah.
What is it that you would say to the average Joe or the average Jane?
That's what I love about principles, because it doesn't matter who use it. They work when you work them. So I would say, remember the ABCs of mental wellness. Become aware of your triggers, set boundaries around your triggers, and resolve conflict immediately. That's what I would say.
And when you say, this might be another couple of, all right, we got it. I have a group here that they get points for watching. And if I go past 10 on 1, they're like, yes. So I got about 6 minutes to work this in. What was the last part you said? The last thing that you said, say it again.
Remember the ABCs of.
Remember the ABCDs. And right after that, you said something that resonated with, maybe it wasn't meant for me to say, because it was a little shady. You said something. I was not toward you. I was just going to give some, I was triggered. You wasn't aware that I had a boundary that, I might have to internally now resolve the conflict. I don't remember what it was. I'll go back and watch it later. But no, Miss Tameka, I really appreciate you. Thank you for everything you're doing. We send joy and strength your way, because it's a lot and it's so remarkable of the example that you can get through your pain. You can get through your trauma. And I said get through, not complete.
Yeah.
It's a tunnel that you just got to constantly keep going through. And so I appreciate what you bring to the table to get us through it. And folks, don't forget that you can go and get the leadership book and the parenting book, both of them. Miss Teresa said before we go, Every human being should live their lives as a leader and apply these principles every day with everyone you come into contact with.
Yes.
Absolutely. I love what you said about principles, because they are applicable to almost any situation, and you can a la carte. But these, these are definitely applicable. Naraki said, Bill Culver and Bill Starworth, watch this replay. This was amazing. Okay,
thank you.
Watch it. Yes, ma'am. But no, thank you so much for being with us. I wish Heidi Ivy was in today. Somebody tag her, because that's somebody I think that you should connect with. She was the person that facilitated my orientation to servant leadership with John Maxwell, Ken Blanchard. Which one is it? Is it Ken Blanchard? Who does the servant leader? Is it John Maxwell or is it Ken Blanchard?
I want to say, now you got me questioning. Let me look, because I got the darn book and let me see who did this. Hold on.
Listen,
now I gotta look.
We do this stuff in real time. My mother said you're a godsend.
Oh,
and Ma, that don't mean for now. My mother's she listens, she observes, and has a little. Never mind, I'm gonna get in trouble. I love you, Ma.
What were you trying to be shady?
My mother is a mother. My mother is a mother.
Yeah, that's what
she loves her
mothers
babies and the grandbabies, and my mother's a mother.
Yeah, I'm looking for it, and I can't even find it.
Folks are tagging Heidi. She would tell us if she popped in here real quick. Well, either way, that servant leadership model with these principles are definitely a good mesh. So anyway, I'll keep giving this closing out because you just bring joy. I really enjoy it.
Thank you.
I think Thaddeus Miles. Somebody tag Thaddeus. He needs to meet her as well. So, Miss Tameka, thank you. Again, apologies for the mix up, but you got here and we did what we needed this morning. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and thanks everyone for your conversation and communications.
and go back and look at the comments. Trust me, they were in there. They were in there.
I'm going to do that.
All right. Thank you, Tameka.
All right. Bye.
Hey, folks, I hope you got some encouragement today. It was meant for her to be here to chat with us today about mental health and leadership. And so Heidi and Naraki's tagging a few people. For those of you that are being invited to watch the replay, welcome to the Java Cafe. And I think that's it for me. Wow, I was not supposed to be here at 10 o'clock. All right, I'm off of here. And we will see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And also we are going to come together. I believe it's going to be on Friday, either at 9 or 12. I have to just double check because we put it together at the last minute, but Dr. Stacy Borden, who's running for the Governor's Council, will be with us on Friday, either morning or afternoon. I'll let you know tomorrow. And we're also in the process of scheduling Allison Cartwright as well, who is running for court clerk, who is definitely very qualified. I won't say the other person isn't qualified, but Allison is much more qualified because she's an attorney. And we'll just leave that there. Miss Teresa, I will eat, drink, and be safe. You too as well. I love you too, Ma. Sharon, I'm glad you were encouraged today. And all the other folks that came in for the first time, as Tameka was with us, please come back and we'll be with you soon. Also, keep in mind, I put a post up about cuffing season for the event on the 19th, and y'all went in. So anyway, don't forget the 19th, we're having that event. September 11th, we're announcing the event. September 4th, September 4th, the mayor will be with us at 10 a.m., not 9 a.m. So we'll let you know about that. Speaking of 10 a.m., don't forget that we are switching Java with Jimmy to 10 a.m. as of Monday, September 16th. All right. That's it for me, everyone. I am going to go and grab something to eat, and we will see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Have a great day, everybody, and thank you for being with us. Peace.